What's happening, good people? Welcome into Wise Up TV, where we're here back with All You Can Eat Warriors, and we're here for another week. I'm here with my man Ash. Ash, how have you been, my brother? Hope things have been well.
Yeah, good, bro. Good. Obviously, got through the weekend. Obviously, it's heartbreak getting through the weekend. So early on, the Warriors going down and having to carry that throughout the weekend, getting messages left and right and center. But yeah, there's a couple of quirky performances over the weekend as well to dive into. Quickly, I want a massive shout out to my missus' little sister for winning her final. I think she goes straight to the grand final for her Snakies there for the women's. So shout out to her, an incredible performance there against the best team in the comp in Maroochydore. And I saw Selwyn Cobbo out there too. So shout out to Selwyn Cobbo, doing good things, getting photos left, right and center. I feel sorry for the bloke, bro, because he's with family, trying to enjoy family time. And but I think that's just what comes with being a footballer, right? So shout out to him.
He's not coming. He's not at the airport in Auckland. He's not coming over. He's not.
Oh, bro, he's a long way from Auckland, bro. Shout out to Woodford, Queensland. He's out west, bro. So enjoy that.
Yeah. No. Oh, that's cool, man. Is she a potential Nrlw talent? What is it?
Probably a little bit too far from that. I would have said, bro, honestly, when she was in her earlier years, she made Sunny Coast Falcons. She was looking the bee's knees, but probably lost a little bit of interest in footy, and she's just made her way back after having a child and stuff. So shout out to her. She's doing great things. But there's a lot of talent in that side, and I'm sure that one or two of those girls will end up touching somewhere close to an NRLW in the future.
Sure, man. Yeah, I mean, there's what was it? I was just thinking about the NRLW girl that Paris Pickering, I think it was, played for us on the weekend.
Yep.
And she came straight out of the Queensland Cup, women's comp over there. So
at North,
you never know, man. Yeah, you just never know. Put yourself in the conversation, and things can happen. Hey guys, welcome in. Yeah, I just saw this actually from Team Mackie, and that might have been the better title. Rest some guys will play our best, rest or best team, and it looks as though Webby is going with close to best. So we'll talk about that very shortly. But I want to get your thoughts, Ash, on the game. Look, another a tough one to take, but what was your thoughts on the performance against the Eels, and is there anything that you can glean from that in terms of we can take with us into finals? What are the work-ons? What are things that we can kind of do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, a bit disappointed. I don't know, I have different thoughts from many other people, but I thought we lost that one in a period. Like, I know the Parramatta Eels, had to leave for pretty much the game in general, right? But I felt like that first half was a disappointing one for me. A couple of opportunistic tries coming from the Parramatta Eels. Obviously, the one from Josh Adokar where Rocco was so close to putting it down, which probably would have been a try if you end up getting that to the ground. And Adokar takes it to the house. So that was the start of it. And I was like, we just always seem to be that side to get those like unlucky bounces and stuff like that. But we just got to turn the tide a little bit. Then I think Kurt Capewell threw the ball into Benassini's head, and then they charged down the end of the field, and I think they score a couple of sets later, a couple of plays later off the back of that, and I was like, oh, this is not looking like our night. And then the boys started clicking into gear. And when the boys clicked into gear, it was a frustrating watch in the sense of like we dominated pretty much majority of the stats. Like we looked like the more dominant team when everything went like, the way the boys started getting into their systems. And then again, it's a similar sort of thing we've been having all year. It's just lapses of concentration, whether it's due to a couple of different factors, that we just kept allowing the Eels just go out to a further lead and make it harder for ourselves to continue to chase that down. It's like we had the talent, we had the ability to continue to chase down that lead and continue to get ahead. Like I honestly thought for the last, 40 to 30 minutes in that game, we looked dominant. Like we looked like we were charging home all, sales. And then that offload from Junior Paulo for Iongi where everything kind of broke apart. And it just was like, come on, boys. Like, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? You know what I mean? Like in simple moments where we could have got through our defensive set and held a team like the Parramatta Eels probably to a closer margin where we could have came home and won that game. End up being 4 tries apiece. It came down to conversions and that too. So it was just a frustrating watch in that sort of sense because we know that we're a better side than that. But, all credit to the Parramatta Eels, though, too. They turned up. They went away from home into New Zealand with New Zealand all to play for, obviously, with the top 4 finish. And they played great footy. It's not to take away from them. But I continue to look back at that game, and even through my rewatches, I continue to think that it was us that really lost that game. And it just became down to just lack of focus in key moments. So that was probably the more frustrating part.
Yeah, it had its frustrations. I mean, I thought Mitchell Moses was on point with his game, his kicking game. Iongi, he's a talent, isn't he? That kind of burnt the CNK and kind of got him flat-footed and scored that try. All those things, defensive lapses at the wrong times. I was real disappointed at the time with that first try and even the second try, and just giving that buffer. It's like, man, it's we know how difficult it is for us to score points at times, but we did have that late flurry, and I was like, yo, we're on here, and
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on the knock on. It became massive. I was actually when I was doing the watch along, I was thinking I was more worried about Fish holding Moses.
Yeah.
I was thinking, they're gonna pull him up because he grabbed him a little, just enough to kind of thing. And then they went past that. I was like, oh, it's sweet as. And then I saw the Dimitri thing. I was like, oh, come on. Nah, no way. What was your thoughts on it, man, in real time? And did you think it went back or something, arguing that it went forward, that type of thing?
I'll be completely honest with you. I was watching this with the family, and the first time it happened, I legit said it's going to get taken off us. Like it was just on that challenge. It just had that feeling to it, first of all. And even without even seeing it up close, just seeing that Dimitri fought so hard to get to that ball. And usually when you see those contests and you see the ball bounce out the way it did, I was like, oh, I bet you anything Dimitrix touched this. And then the more I kept looking at it, I was like, oh, maybe not, maybe. And then there was that front-on camera view where you just see it touch the finger. And I'm like, Did it go back? Like I was starting to be like, just classic Warriors fan, bro. I was like, it went back. Like surely it went back. Please give it. But I got to be completely honest, bro. Like, that gets called majority of the time. So I probably agree with what Dimitri said after the game, where he said he did touch the ball, but that wasn't the key moment, which lost us the game in general. And that there's a lot of other moments. But I thought it was a fair call in the sense of like, I would probably be on the side of arguing, like, was it enough to take the try away? Like we had that moment with Wade Egan, was it last year against Newcastle Knights where he went to pick the ball off the ground? It was that slight touch before he picked the ball off the ground and we scored a try off that set and they went back to it. Yeah. There's a little bit of that of like, is it enough to take it away? Like, is there enough doubt? But if I was a Parramatta fan and that happened on the opposite way and that ended up getting given, I would probably be fuming as well too. So after they get away with 2 other drop balls in the game that no one called about or talked about. But anyway, for me, it was a knock on. It sucks, bro, because that got me off my feet. But unfortunately, I got to side with the referee on that one. I do think it was a knock on in that moment.
Yep. No, I'm basically happy with that. But man, it was I mean, again, kind of when you seize the moment to kind of get us into a top 4 position, it didn't happen, and that's okay. What do you make of I know Egan kind of had a rough game, and he's obviously been rested this week.
Yeah.
Probably his shoulder's still plaguing him, or whatever it is that he's been dealing with. Do you think he just had an off game, or do you think it was he's obviously injured and carrying something as to why it was just I thought it was one of his poor performances in the last year or so. You know,
Yeah,
um,
definitely. Oh, I think that I heard there was a hip injury apparently coming out of it. So whether whatever's
okay,
going on with the hip, so whether that actually played to his performance in the game, because I agree that was a poor one from him, and you can already see like we need Wade Egan to be playing good footy to contend and like
absolutely,
continue to contend upwards. So yeah, that was one of his poorer ones. Like that key moment where we started to get a roll on. He tried to pick the ball up with one hand and he dropped it. I was like, oh, Wado, like before half time, we started to really get it going again. But hopefully he's okay. I think that, maybe the hip injury had something to do with it. Maybe he's still battered and bruised. Like this was my argument. Shout out to the members and that are in the WhatsApp chat or in the Discord and stuff like that, guys. I was kind of discussing with everyone in behind the scenes, about our season and kind of how it's going. But I think with all the injuries of players coming back from injuries, their fitness has started to get tested and stuff. And that's why you start to see us hitting like a brick wall at some stages as well. And whether that kind of contributed to Wade Egan's performance over the weekend of, had a great performance one back, but, maybe his fitness is still not there. And just seeing him getting pulled this weekend, obviously with a hip injury, maybe that had something to play with his performance over the weekend.
yeah, and a guy of his level and caliber, he is always at a top level, and was just surprised by that. And saying that there were some really good, offensive attacks moments that I thought Lecker was again he's so good at that
Oh,
bomb. He's like good for 80% of those. In that position, he like boxes out the other guy, and he's so strong as he goes up and brings it down. Do you think? I mean, are we using him to full effect? I personally like the balance, but I suppose some would argue, oh, he should be starting over Marata. Maybe do we see maybe we've been saving his energy for a big game, in the finals? What do you make of kind of his role at the moment?
yeah, I think that this is something I actually appreciate with Webby, and I know a lot of people get frustrated with this, but he has a plan with Lecker, and he's sticking to that
Mm,
plan, and I
yeah,
totally believe that. Like, I know that his plan kind of got blown out of the water this season when he had no choice to play Lecker for those 80-minute games and really push him out, push the boat out a little bit with him. But he's only 19. Like, I don't want him to pick up serious injuries and have him continue with being an injury bug
sure.
with such a superstar talent that we have. So I agree. Like, I think playing him off the bench towards the end of the season, because you can already tell that at one point this season he was hitting the wall. Like he had that error game. I think it was against the Dragons where he dropped like 3 or 4 balls. Like it wasn't really going his way. I think that's what really clued on to Webby and said, hey, I need to pull this guy back a little bit, get him to learn the ropes of the game again, build his base up, and then he can play on footy. But I think in moments we are using him to his full effect. I still think there's other areas the boys can learn how to use Lecker a little bit better from what I've seen of Lecker, coming through the junior grades. But he's all learning, bro. Like 19 years old, what he's doing right now as a 19-year-old is actually it's absolutely mental. And even a good bloke that's been going crazy about Lecker and saying like he's the best thing since sliced bread for ages. I didn't think he was going to hit the ground running like he did this year. I thought he would have little moments that everyone would be seeing going, oh, here we go, the
Yeah,
future's here. But he's having some major moments. He basically got us back into this game with that Jeremiah Nanai aerial threat
yeah,
type of skill
yes.
set that he does have in his game. So he's been absolutely unreal for us this season.
He has, man. Every time we've needed something, in a moment, a big moment, he's been there, to get us there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much away from the Eels as well. They had some really good play, but we got to move on, man. I think we're going to divert our attention now into the last week.
Yep.
I did have this topic here, and I think it's poignant because we're kind of seeing the team list across the NRL right now, and everyone's gone strong, which is cool. It's cool to see. The games will be big games, some big blockbuster games, really, if you think about them. The big question, I suppose, for us, that I've been asking myself is actually sixth okay, and should we kind of save a bit in the tank, or should we actually take the opportunity and go for a fourth if results work in our favor? I wanted to kind of get your view on this topic and see where you're at with it, because it's up still up for grabs technically. Some strong games like Storm v Broncos, that's very a strong potential that the Storm could win, and then there's the Dogs versus Sharks, and who knows with that as well. Even though those top four teams are kind of solid, it does bring in a variable. So what would you say, man?
I'd say, like, I had two different thoughts on this, right? Like, because I can see the thought process of, holding on and kind of settling for a six spot, right? And kind of sitting that we're going to get a home final more than likely in any sort of scenario here due to the work that we've done. And more likely, we're not going to drop to seventh or eighth. There's no way that we're going to drop that out that far. So, like, resting and getting our boys fresh and ready to go if we want to have that one-off final game. But we lose, obviously, the double chance, which is such the major part for top four. And for us to have any sort of big chance in the finals, that's going to be a long shot chance. I think top four is still worth fighting for in that sort of sense of, like, winning one of those games and then we skip through a round. Like, if we have that one-off performance, we get so much closer, to, a grand final than what a lot of people probably expect us coming to this final series, to where if we land in the sixth spot, more than likely we're going up against the Penrith Panthers or the Roosters, and both on their day, coming over to New Zealand, they're going to be a real tough beat, and we're probably going to get bounced out in the first round, more than likely, right? This is just going off the chances, what we've seen from the boys towards the end of the season. So for me, as I said, I can see the sixth argument. The more I think about it, I'm just like, I enjoy that Webby's going all in, try to go top four. Like, if we want to build a culture of just continue to fight and just continue to push, and no matter what, always try to strive for the highest effort and try to get our best game overall. I think we need to put in, the best team that we can and fight for any opportunity that we can towards the end of the season. Now, I think that's what our culture is at the moment, fighting and grinding. So we're definitely fighting for that top four spot, and just seeing how the Melbourne Storm and the Dogs have named their team list this weekend, we've got an opportunity there. There is an opportunity for us to get it done. Melbourne's named a pretty solid squad against the Broncos, and they have good success against Broncos at Suncorp. And we saw what the Dogs did to the Sharkies earlier on the season. There's all the ability that they can do that again. The only thing for us is DC's last game at Four Pines. That's going to be a tough ask for us. So, bring our full squad, see how we go. I'm going to go try for top four for sure.
Do you, I mean, say if you're in a nail biter with the Seagulls and you're pushing, say, someone, you're pushing someone that's nicked up. They're saying, "Hey, coach, I'm a little bit hurt." Do you say, "Hey, power through. Let's get this. We're nearly home." But you risk that injury, or do you say, "Okay, ease off"? Like, it's such a tough one to kind of. I mean,
that's where it's tough.
You don't want another major injury. Like, no matter what we do, we're in the finals. So it's kind of that playing with, like, well, how much is too much when you've got enough. But at the same time, that extra, that gives you two bites at the cherry. It's always nice. I may not want to win the grand final, but I want to stay in the party as long as I can. I don't want to get kicked out.
Well,
I don't want the bouncer to grab me and say, "Hey, man, get out of here, mate. No, please let me stay long. I want to stay as long as I can."
Exactly. And you never know, like, I still have this slight belief in us that we still got that one performance that we can get it done. Like, it's still just like, there's something in us still that still, like, says to me that we're not too far away. Like, it's just like, we just got to work on these little things in our game that we consistently have been having since the injuries and since some certain things, that we've mixed and matched with our lineup. It's probably been plaguing us for a long period this season. But I still believe, like, if we had the double bite in the cherry, if we lose the first game, that second game, I believe we can pull out that one-off performance at home in front of our home fans to kind of get it done and go further. Instead of going, if we're a 6 and winning that first game at home and then going to the second one, it's kind of be like, oh, well, it's too far away anyway. Like, more than likely we're going to get bounced out. So, I don't know. The closer we can get to a grand final to where maybe we can go on this magical run that no one can think of, and top four is probably the best way we can do that. But more than likely, I'd say more than likely we probably end up in that 6th role either way. But that's good. We get to have a home final either way. And I think that's all credit to the work we've done earlier this season too.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because we're not going to dip into 7th. It's banked us a home final, which is great for the fans. It's great for the team, the work they put in, and, everything that they've built up towards. I just wanted to add in this topic here. Like, is there anything that you can see, Ash? Like, I've kind of said, look, what we've gotten so far is probably the best we're going to get.
Yeah.
We can always fine tune, but for me, Tanner Boyd, I think he's shown us what he's good at. His ceiling, I think that's pretty much what we're going to get week in week out with him. You never know in the finals, guys can lift. You like to see guys that want to lift, and maybe we see a Tanner Boyd, but I just thought based on just what I've seen, like I think the guys are performing to the max, mostly the max of what they can output at the moment. Is there
Yep.
anything that you can see that maybe, oh no, we might need to change something up here, or look, we need some more reps. Maybe that's another reason why Webby's gone really strong, was close to strong as he can against the Sea Eagles to get more out of it.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like to be honest, I'm in the same boat as I think that right now, towards this end of the season, I think we are hitting probably our limit to what this squad that we have named on paper can do. So, you know what I mean? Like, um, to continue, like the more we start to see, Tanner Boyd in that 7 jersey, and the more we start to see, like, how these teams are moving, and that it's not that we're moving bad, but it just doesn't have that upper echelon that we saw probably earlier on in the season. I know I've had back and forth a lot of people
Sure.
and like saying that we'd never had a standout game this season other than the Sharks, but I believe like the Cowboys game was incredible. The Rabbits
Yep.
game was incredible. We had the Manly game early on the season, and a lot of those had Luke Metcalf written all over it, and that was kind of our upper echelon there. The only way I could ever see that probably changing, and I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like it. I was talking to Brody today, and I was like, do you reckon if Webby end up just going with Tamati Martin for the final series? I know it probably will hurt Tanner a little bit with this one moment and that, but going with a gunslinger that's just going to leave it out there, comparatively to a guy that's a systematic halfback that's going to go through the system and go through the motions, which he does so well. Like going with someone like Tamati that's going, all right, I'm going to uptick it just because I'm living and dying by the sword. Does that give us a little bit of an extra, teams probably would worry about him a little bit more because he can hurt you in many different ways, but he could also hurt ourselves. If you know what I mean, that makes it a little bit
Yeah.
scarier for sides. So that's the only thing I could think of off the top of my head. Because other than that, bro, I'm with you. I think this is probably the upper echelon of what we got at the moment, unless Roger has another gear in him. As we all know, Roger can have the ability to do so, but there's not much as a winger is probably going to give there on the wing. So I don't know. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like again, I would go with a Tanner Boyd if you knew you're going to dominate the middle. I just think if the middle is nullified, you kind of fall into that pattern of kick chase and doing the 1%ers. A guy like a Tamaida can just create something a little bit differently. I loved his energy when he came on too. I thought there was a real kind of game lifter, and then he kind of got in the ball playing role
Yep.
as well. I think that's another, again, like that could benefit you if you're in a game or in a close game on the second half where it just lifts the tempo or gives something different. So it's a tough one. But I just hate for us to just not throw anything at say a Panthers, and it's just one of those controlling games where they win 26-12. And we don't give much. It's kind of I just think if you're going to go for it, you're pretty much saying like Webby's been doing it. I think Webby's been saying, pretty much showing us that with the 4-pack right now, we're not going to dominate through the middle as such. So he's been going wide early in the sets to try and generate more yardage on the outside to trying to help the back five. So I think Webby's kind of come to that, but it's the only other variable that kind of seems like a renegade out of the blue, don't prepare for it type. You don't know what he's going to do type thing. So yeah, I think it's up to Webby. Another one is Lecker. The use of Lecker.
Yeah.
How can he get into a game a little bit earlier? I mean, his output. He scored 2 tries within 5-10 minutes. Was it? Like, that might be an X factor that you need in the back end of a game. So again, if we tidy up, like what I'm thinking in terms of improvements is like nothing silly. Like, I definitely thought Marata and Dallin could have done better on that Addo-Carr try. Like take out all the variable ones where it's not our errors. That's probably where. And then you get a second half game where you're like 12 all or whatever. Shivers, you can bring on a Mighty then and kind of change it up, and that might kind of.
Well, to a comment that I've kind of seen in here too, brother, is like bringing over James Fisher Harris to the club. Like Finals time, James Fisher-Harris always steps to another level as well. Like maybe he could be, not to say a guy as an X factor that's going to give us the attacking ability of just blowing out the game for like an added Finn or Blake or anything. I'm not saying that at all, but having that just like that defensive mindset of just attacking people and stuff, maybe that gives us a little bit more of an uplift in the middle as well. Like James Fisher-Harris hitting a new level. And as you said, probably Lecker coming on in the right moments. Dimitrik's got a little bit about him as well that he's still waiting. I think he's still holding in a chamber. Sam Healy coming into the squad this week too. He's got an ability that he can break open the game as we see in New South Wales Cup. So there's still guys there. It's just like, from what we've seen for later on this season, probably in some key moments and stuff, we're probably just not there yet to kind of like have that base to end up hitting that level, first of all, to start off with. But I'd love to see that probably, grow, like, Fisher-Harris getting in there and hitting like playoff Fisher-Harris. We see him with the Kiwis, what he did when it came to the big time. We saw what he did with the Penrith Panthers when it came to the big time. Not to put all the pressure on James Fisher-Harris, but the reason why we signed him to push us into a new level is what we've seen in those big key moments come finals time. So maybe he could be another little key for us. Not so much attacking, but more defensive end.
I mean, you can always again, if you get something where I just think that this team will have to play out of its skin. Aaron Clark will have to have a monster game with Dimitri, but the benefit is playing at home. And I know we have had a bad record at home, but like I remember some of the big, finals games, like the Knights in 23 was awesome when I was at the game. The 08 blackout. There's been some great home games in the finals that and I know it's the Panthers and all likelihood they'll win, but if you just get some of that Mount Smart energy, it can turn a game like those old games, bro. When the crowd really got up behind the boys, they could really drive them home. So I'm not taking that away as well. So everyone will have their part to play. The fans, the crowd,
That's exactly right. And I think that's the other little key that we do have in our favor too. That could be the little X factor as well. That could push us into one game, right? You know what I mean? Like a one-off massive game to beat Penrith and knock them out of the finals. Like that would be the icing on the cake for the New Zealand Warriors for the season, wouldn't it? Just have that one massive one-off game at Mount Smart, do what everyone's hoping to do, and knock out probably the biggest contender other than the Melbourne Storm in this grand final race. That would be a major thing. And if there's anyone, as I said, like you got names like Roger Tuivasa-Sheck still in the lineup, James Fisher-Harris, that have tasted the big time. And they know in the final series what they can do. Like this will be the first time that Roger's been back to a final series, since obviously a while, and James Fisher-Harris as well from last year. So very, very excited to see how they go to another level as well.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you guys so far. I hope we've enjoyed that discussion. We've got more talking points to come through. Just wanted to quickly shout out Sean Smith. Thanks for becoming a YouTube member. And just I wanted to throw this one at you, Ash. I saw it earlier in the chat. Just a quick one. We might talk about it at the end of the thing as well. Davey Moale, are you a fan of him? What do you think of him as a potential coming over here, kind of filling in that spot for what Ali and Afua kind of on the outer? What do you make of that kind of rumor?
Yeah, big fan. I've actually, me and Waraholic have been talking about who's our next big prop that we have coming through and all that. And obviously Toby Crosby is the one that everyone kind of touches on and that, but he's only getting limited minutes in cup. So I don't know whether it's development stuff that like tactically he's not doing right that a lot of people want him to see because he's still so fresh to rugby league. He came from a rugby union background. So whether he might be a little bit too long gone in that sort of sense that where the club probably don't see it out of him. Like Davey's been in the game for a little while now in a Rabbitoh system. He's still so young, but he's been around the game for a little while in first grade system.
Yeah,
so he's a big body. He's a try scorer as well. He's got a lot of ability in that sort of sense. I think defensively, there's a lot of areas he can fix up on there too. So I think that there is an ability there that we can get one of those props, especially with Tom Arleb leaving us, obviously, to the Penrith Panthers, or, rumored to be leaving us with the Penrith Panthers. I don't know if that's all for confirmed yet, but that was always the rumor going around at the moment. So
wasn't Crosby? Yeah. I saw rumors for Crosby as well to go to the Panthers.
There was rumors of Crosby as well. So I'm not too sure how that's going to go about. I do know Crosby loves being in New Zealand.
They're hunting hard, the old, they try to get Fatsi Alofa. They've tried to get a few of our boys, man.
They're loving what we're doing,
we took
bro.
Chet away in a few of the,
Yeah, they're seeing the systems and they're all co-mingling and they're all grabbing off each other. But I reckon it would be actually a really good hit. I don't think he'll make the first grade squad just yet, but I reckon over time he could be a real key major piece that we can develop into something special. Like, as I said, he's got a lot of potential and everyone can see it. He probably has more potential for me than Tom Arle and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's just yet to be seen, obviously, on first grade.
Well, it'll be cheaper than getting a premier prop, and maybe you boost them up within a year or two. And but we're doing a bit of business with the Rabbitohs, which is interesting. You know, we're taking that young boy Compton, is it? I don't know what's his name. He's a Purcell, actually. If you know the Purcell family, basketball family, I know his family, his mum's side. But the dad was an ex-Warrior too. He's coming over to play for us. Yeah. But yeah, it's a bit of interesting. Approaching Crosby is like, yo, see, this is these are some of the fears I've had about taking our top talent. It's only natural. You can't keep all of them, but Crosby.
But see, like,
if you want, I want to keep, wouldn't he?
With that as well, like, we have seen a lot of these ones that we kind of envision that we want to keep because of athletically they're incredible and these are the areas and stuff. But like the club knows the best. Like, the one I would give away to you is like Zion Mauhu. Everyone was so incredibly caught up in Zion and not seeing probably the little things in his game because athletically he was an absolute like freak, right? But Toby's probably in that similar mold, but Toby's got that little bit of like, I don't know, the speed, everything that he gives you, like, he just gives you, like, if we can figure him out, like, it would be incredible. But like, we've seen, as I said, Zion go to the Dogs, who's a great system, and they're not able to figure him out either. So
yeah, it's crazy.
It could be just one of those talents that are athletically incredible, but not so much a footy player. And I think there's a good mix between a footy player and an athlete that needs to be found with a lot of these talents as well.
Yeah, it's a great. You're bang on, Ash. The team, the Warriors, are having a pretty good read on talent that they're letting go. And yep, but great question. Just quickly, guys, we are on 92. Can we hit the like button? Also, we need two more subscribers to make 3K. If we get the 3K tonight, we will give out 5 new memberships. So those will be given out randomly to people in the chat, and you have a month's free to come into the club rooms. Well, there's probably enough club rooms left till the end of the season. So yeah, if we can get that over the 3K line tonight, I'll hit the button and give out 5 random memberships. So we appreciate you guys. We've done it, man. I'm going quick back to me and Ash. It's been a 2-year project, man, and
it's been crazy.
The graft and grind. We're on 3K, bro. That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's wild. That's absolutely crazy. Well, and at the same time, Ash is doing his thing, and he's a beast. This fella. Very lucky to have him here while the TV.
I try.
Okay, let's get into this team list, man. If I can look at it, it is kind of unchanged.
Yep.
And with Sam Healy, this time Stella Smith is actually listed as a starting prop. Tamite, EIT, Dimitri, and Leka as the bench again. You happy with that? I think Egan obviously taken out because of that hip injury. Webby's gone strong. I think he wants to win this game. Would you agree with that? He wants to go for it. Yeah,
100%, bro. 100%. I don't think there's a better squad we can name at the moment, to be honest. So I think this is the best that we could do right now, and I think that means that he's definitely going for
it. Yeah, man. He's definitely. Actually, guys, we do have the 3K. Oh, God. Ash, if you don't mind, keep talking about the team. So it's 2 people who have thinged it. I'll go ahead and give out some free memberships.
Shout out, yeah. So
anything else in that squad, I'll just get onto this and then I'll give out some.
Looking to reserves, I don't know if there'll be any late changes at all, like Tanchua Piki, Kalani Going. Incredible shout to Kalani Going winning our New South Wales Cup Player of the Season as well. Incredible season for our captain down there. But Bunty, obviously, we know what Bunty can bring. I don't see any of these guys coming in. Ed Gossi or Luke Hansen, who's been playing Golden Cup as well. So I think this is pretty sturdy. It doesn't look like there will be any late changes, as we kind of do predict a lot of the times for the New Zealand Warriors coming like 24-hour cutoff. Obviously, it was discussed. I think someone put it up in the chat whether, if the Broncos win, whether we can rest everyone. I think it'll be a little bit too late before we can ever do that anyway. Like, I think the 24-hour cutoff hits it right before the Broncos game. So we won't be able to do any of that, guys. So that's pretty much the team we're going to be running out there with. And it's as close as what we can get to a full strength out there.
Yeah, I think I'm happy, man. I'm happy he's gone for it. I thought you kind of need to kind of, to do that, and I'm happy with it as long as everyone's healthy. That type of thing. So yeah, man, happy to do that. Okay, guys, I'm giving out the 5 memberships just quickly. Thank you to getting
Woo!
us to 3K. It's absolutely massive, and we want to just show some love to everyone for doing that. But yeah, man, appreciate that. 3K, far out, Ash.
That's
Amazing, man.
crazy, bro. We appreciate all you
Um,
guys, eh? Like, you guys are absolutely incredible.
so yeah, we're giving out the 5 free. If you've gotten one, just let us know, man. Like I can see it here. Shout out to Interwebby, Brad, Adam Smart, GT. We know our man GT. There's one,
GT.
two, three, four, five. I think that's it. Yeah. Shout out to Adam, Braden, George, GT, and Interwebby. Welcome, man. Appreciate you guys, and hope you
Let's
guys
go.
enjoy. Yeah, a short time with us here at Wise Up TV for the next month. Okay. How do you think Sam Healy will go, my man?
Yeah, I'm really excited, bro. I think that he'll definitely, looking at obviously the team that we've named, there's no one other than Tamati Martin that's going to take a bit of his minutes. So I'm very excited to see, him starting out the game and see how we kind of deal with that. So I think he'll go well, bro. He's that youthful energy, and we've seen him each and every time he's stepped onto the first grade field. He's not afraid to go out and attack the game. And I think we kind of have been needing that in some sort of sense as well. So I'm very very excited to see him go out there and attack it as hard as he can.
Yeah, man. Look, it's exciting to see. It's one of the it's a team that I'm like I'm super proud. I think if I'm looking back at it, let's do a bit of reflection now. Like I'm super proud of it. Like Tanisdale Smith's had a great run,
Yep.
filling in. Eddie's had some great games. Mr. Goggins himself, Demetric's kind of shown some consistency. Lecker's been X Factor, how good he's been, and it's just good to see. And Pompey, I was happy for Pomps. Forgot to mention Pomps, but he's been doing so well. Little Gidley flick,
Bro.
he's doing his thing out there, Pomps, and
Pretty
Berry
sure
as
him
well.
with
Getting
Lecker,
some more.
bro. He's our leading try scorer of the season as well, Pompey. So, the season that he's had for us this season has been
Yeah,
enormous. So, people, yeah, we should get behind Adam Pompey and what he's been doing for us right now.
absolutely, man, absolutely. Okay, man. Let's get into the Sea Eagles. Last game of the season, match for DCE. Has the Sea Eagles kind of delivered on where you think have they under delivered based on their talent and quality? Do you think Seabolt's a good coach for them, or what's your evaluation of their season for the Sea Eagles?
Yeah, they've definitely underperformed for me. I predict them to be a top 4 threat this season. To start the season, I was seeing Tommy back fresh and ready to go. Players like Jason Saab, Ruben Garrick, Lehigh Hopewadi having the year that he did last year, thinking that he was just going to grow into another level as well, which he has. He's played some good footy, but just as a collective, they haven't come together. And I think DCE's contract saga and the way that the Manly higher ups have kind of handled that situation as well probably hurt him this season. And I think that they're obviously a scary team on their day, and on their day they could be one of the most devastating teams to play against. But then they could also have these real shockers in them just out of nowhere too. So we're praying on we're going to get a shocker performance over the weekend, but I think it's going to be a tight one because DC's last game, this is probably going to be their big last hurrah. And any team with Tom Trebojevic in it is a scary, scary prospect. But yeah, they're definitely underachieved for me. Quite a significant margin as well.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah. Do you think they? I looked at the Titans and kind of reflecting like the Titans they faded out. Actually, just quickly on Seabold, do you rate him as a coach, or do you think he's kind of overrated? He's a very kind of attacking type coach. Is he a good defensive coach? Do you think, or what's your overall thought on Seabold?
Yeah, it's hard to get a read because, like, every situation I've seen him in has been either he's had some higher ups with some disgruntledness, like, with the Broncos, he jumped into that job where the Broncos were just trying to push out Wayne Bennett any sort of way possible, which was a real horrible time for the Broncos. And obviously, you don't do that, like with Wayne Bennett and that, and it obviously hurt him for that period there. So Seabolt came in and it was like a sinking ship in a way, and he was trying to steer it, even though the amount of talent that they had in that lineup. And he obviously didn't do well at all. Obviously, winning their wooden spoon there too, which was definitely not great. Going to Manly, similar thing. Like, he's had really good moments where he's shown that, yeah, he can get this team together playing great footy. He got Luke Brooks to be playing consistent footy for a lot of people, and he got to a good level. But when everything starts to fall, it's hard for him to really grab this team and kind of get him to play, good footy, consistent football. Like, they still just lean back into just a flamboyant edge attacking side of football. He's always been known, like, I think earlier days, he was known as a defensive coach, and like, very analytical. But unfortunately, I don't think he's able to show that in consistent, like, multiple different clubs. And it might become, another year that if the Seagulls don't see any improvement, he's probably going to get shipped off as well. So for me, I'll probably say middle of the road. It's really hard to get a decision on it because I do think there's other factors that are really hampering being a coach in the NRL at the moment. But is he really helping it? Probably not in general as well. So I think about a
Yeah.
mid-table head coach at the moment.
Yep. Yep. Fair enough. And this is a club, Manly. They usually pull the pin early if someone's not up to scratch. Yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
there's kind of it's it depends on how he does next year. But man, okay, let's get into our combined 17, and we'll talk about the players a bit more. But let me just pull that up quickly, people. Okay, so we've got Tom Trbojevic versus C&K.
Woo.
Oh, sorry, I'll go left wing as well. So Roger Tuivasa-Sheck versus is that Lehigh Hopewadi?
It will be
No.
Lehigh Hopewadi. Yep.
How's Lehigh been going? I mean, I haven't watched much Manly this year, to be honest. But Lehigh's he's a good player, but I suppose on the wing, probably not doing the output that Roger's doing right now. Roger's been winning this argument every week, almost.
Yeah. Roger as a winger has been incredible, bro.
He's been
Lehigh,
awesome.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Lehigh,
Sorry, you called that at the
unfortunately,
start
bro.
of the year. The Roger thing about him having a massive season. He has. He actually has. He's had
Bro,
an amazing season on the wing.
you can't take away what Rogers, like. He's such a freak of a player. And whatever position he kind of puts his mind to, he's always going to do it well. So, I think that I hope that he gets Winger of the Year. I think he definitely is in contention with Xavier Coates, Mark Nwanga-Nitawase, maybe a Zach Lomax can get thrown in there as well. But on Lehigh, playing out of position in the sense of, like, I prefer him definitely as a fullback. He definitely plays so much above his weight. He's definitely a real good, great player, great prospect for the future. But right now, you got to have a possible Winger of the Year, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck there.
Yep, got to go there. Hey, thank you, guys. Appreciate your support. RNZ. A lot of these organizations, they don't do near enough the research.
Yeah.
Shameful reporting. Laziness. It's a very lazy reporting. Okay, let's go to fullback. C&K versus Tommy Trbojevic. Hard not to go with Tom based on just his whole game, rep player, all those things. You happy with that, obviously? Yep.
It's got to be Tom Trbojevic, bro. If not injured,
Sure.
bro, I would actually put him down as probably the best player in the game. Right there with Cleary. I think that if he's fit and ready to go, there's no better player in this competition.
If his body never broke him down, he'd be one of the... Yeah, I totally agree.
And if anyone ever saw his under 20s career in that, they knew this was gonna be happening. Not with the injuries, like how incredible he was. He was just so dominant. It just sucks that injuries have hampered him because, we could have been looking at close to an immortal career more than likely if he was able to play his full potential. Definitely Hall of Famer. That 21 season that he had was just, oh my God.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely. Who have I got here? So it is Saab versus Whiten is Zelezniak.
Yep.
Which way would you go here? I mean, I've watched much Saab. Saab can be hit and miss too.
Yeah.
Probably got more elite speed. Dallin kind of been hit and miss as well. Well, although he's been looking a bit better with a rocker outside of him. Which way would you go with this one?
I'll tell you what, bro. Dallin had a really good game last week, and I think it was really understated as well for this victory, for the loss. Sorry, I think that he was really, really good. Out of the two, it's really dependent on what you want. Like they're very similar in the aspects of like Jason Saab. You know, people always call out Dallin for his defensive lapses. Like Jason Saab's riddled through it. Like he actually makes the poor decision majority of the time. The biggest thing about Jason Saab is speed, and I think that Dallin definitely doesn't have the speed, but I think Dallin has the work rate that's a lot higher than Jason Saab. I think that Dallin, for me, wins out this argument between the two. Like, I think Jason Saab's still got a lot of potential for the future. He's still a great winger. But I think the work rate of Dallin and that, I think it's just a little bit more consistent for me in some areas too. So this one's 50-50 though, bro. I can really see it both ways.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Dallin, I just hate the old jaw, the WWE.
That frustrates me too.
By Stephanie McMahon, and you're like, yeah, a woman's just slapped me in the face. I'm like, bro, I actually was doing the watch along, and I was like, he did his first hit up, and then I was like, Dallin, is he going to go for the jaw? And he didn't. I think it was either his second or third. Hit up, he did. And my wife goes, "Hey, you called out the Dallin thing." I was like, "He does one per game, man.
He does."
I'm sure the refs are over it. Like they probably got in the video session. If Dal goes for his shin, do not give him anything.
Yeah,
he's killed. He's actually killed it. If he saved it up in moments, he might have, But anyway, I mean, to be fair, he does go into contact very, very heavy.
100%.
So I understand it, but it's a bit annoying. I think Warriors fans are getting pissed off now. We're sick of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks because, you want to fight the argument of, I don't want players to lay down and that. And, I understand some aspects where they do need to because the penalty's not getting called. But when you're doing it consistently like that, it kind of does, it takes away from it a little bit. And you kind of do look like, you're just acting for it, obviously, majority of the time. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. He does have one a game, and it is a frustrating thing. Even as a fan of the Warriors, I kind of wish he didn't do it too much.
Yep. Okay, we got Pompey versus Tommy Talau, or is it Faulalo?
I'm confused at how they're going to run this one. I think Tommy preferably plays left center, even though I've seen him go on the right as well. Faulalo plays right center in cup a lot of the time too, and when he comes in, he plays right. So we're going to go Tommy Talau on the left.
Tommy Talau on the left. Okay. Can't go past Pomps. I mean, I'm not sure Talau's a good talent, but Pompey's my guy, man. Would you say that as well, Ash?
I would agree. Yeah, I think that Tommy Talau is a great prospect, great talent. He's just had injuries for his career. Adam Pompey, Mr. Consistent, week in, week out, no injuries in him. And as I said, I actually looked at the try scorer. Rogers first with Lecker, and I think he's just under that. But for a period there, he was our top try scorer. So what a great season for Adam Pompey, and one of the more underrated players. I think mainly could be in the competition a little bit for his year that he's had.
Yep. And on the other side, Faulalo versus Rocco Berry. Has Faulalo played much games?
He's been in and out. He's a fill-in center, basically. Very, very talented. Come from Cup. Big try scorer. I've seen him more so sort of on the wings sort of look as well. Out of the two, I think Rocco Berry is more of a first grader comparatively. But we've got to watch out for Faulalo. He finds himself in all the right positions to score tries too. So he's definitely a point scorer.
I think I was watching some Manly content today. Their stuff's actually quite funny. I find that our Warriors content's quite good. Like in general, it's kind of in a serious tone, but Manly do well with kind of the humorous stuff.
They do.
Yeah, it's quite funny, bro. Whoever their content. But I think I saw him today kick. They were practicing their like swooping kicks through the goalpost from the side. You're on the goal line, the try line, and then you try to kick it outside into the post. And I think it might have been him. He looks a talent.
He's very much a talent. It's just he hasn't had consistent first grade just yet. So,
and shout out. I don't know if you have seen this, but Maile Hopoate, it's Hopper's daughter.
yep.
And she does TikToks of their family. It's some of the best content I've seen.
Unreal.
It's so funny, man. The Hopoate family is like, oh, they need to do a follow, the Hoppers reality TV show, bro. It would be hilarious.
Bro, have you seen, was it the workout one where she's got him doing like the band on the thing and then they're dancing on the band? It's unreal.
It was the one where the mum was, how you break up chicken into like a shredded chicken? She was eating the chicken, biting on it, and it was like the shredded chicken for the sandwiches for the day. Oh, man, it was the funniest, right?
The Hopper family, bro. Honestly, producers every time.
It produces talent, bro. I swear. Some of them. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that reminded me of Manly as a Hopper, obviously. But let's go now into the halves. Luke Brooks versus CHT. How's Brooks been going?
Yeah, Brooks.
Do you think his career overall's gone better since he's been was leaving the Tigers better for him and going to Manly? You think ultimately
it looked better to start with? I thought he found really good form early this season. Like he's just, I don't know. It just still hasn't happened with Brooks the way everyone kind of hoped it to be to start with. And I think that he's probably just showing that this is probably his level. Is just a guy that just on a day he can scare you, but more than likely he's just going to be that conventional. Half/6. That's, I think that it's really hard to say he's better for worse. I think it looked better to start with, but at the moment it's probably looking very similar in a sense as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, we'll go CHT then, eh?
Yeah, I think for that one, I think Chanel Harris-Tavita's had the better season so far. So I got to sway the way of our boy there.
DCE versus Tanner. I mean, I think I've got to go DCE here. Even despite maybe his form, I'm not sure how his form's been. You feel that way as well?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I think that even though with the form that he has, he's still an elite halfback in this game. So yeah, out of the two, it's still DC for me.
Yep. Okay, let's get into. We'll do the hooker now. Actually, Jake Simpkin versus Sam Healy. Simpkin's been around a little bit, eh? He's probably just got a little bit more experience than Healy.
Yeah.
Who would you give that to?
Simpkins has some nice moments in him. He's got like if you ever saw early days Jacob Little, you could see like the moments in him every so often going, oh, okay, I can see it now. When you see Jacob Little now, he's grown to a player that that he's going to be damaging. I'm waiting for Simpkin to be in a similar sort of mold in the future. I'm not too sure if he will end up getting to that. So a guy that can dart out dummy half and cause a lot of trouble with his speed. But I'd say, like, it might be crazy to say, but I think Healy's just got the higher potential out of the two. And even though he's played probably less games in NRL than Simpkin, I've seen a lot more out of Healy where I think that he could be a really damaging hooker in this competition for the future. So we'll go on Healy.
We'll go Healy, man. Absolutely. That sounds good. Okay, let's go now to our props. We've got, Lodge, man.
Lodge.
Alpha. Alpha.
Ex-Warrior.
That was such a bad time, man. I remember that Titans game and him and Kane Evans.
Kane Evans got,
and then he got sent off. Or it was one of the worst. I was so embarrassed. That was like one of the times I was super embarrassed to be a fan. I was like, oh man, that was some tough times, man. He was such tough times back then. He was an absolute clown.
Yeah.
Although he did give us, was it the one game he went down with a Dallin? And we got the penalty.
The Canberra Raiders, I think.
Redcliffe. I remember that one. That was like,
the Redcliffe game. That was a big one. I think I was at that game personally, and that was that was
you
a
might have been
crazy
at that
moment.
game. Before I met you, it was 22, I think.
Those days, bro. Don't remind me, man. Don't remind me. There was some nice moments there, but there was some really poor ones too.
Who was it at the Titans that got? They just bit on him. Was it
Jared Wallace. And he ended up saying like send me
Jared
the
Wallace
contract
was,
or whatever.
was yeah, and he got it Lodge, and he got it Kane Evans. Oh, that was a dark era. That
I
was
don't
very,
know if
very
that was the game that Kane Evans had. He strapped up his wrist and he
Folders.
said, "Fold
Yeah.
some." Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up getting suspended. Remember, was it
Man.
Marcelo Montoya calling someone, a homophobic
Yeah.
slur and getting
Yeah,
5 weeks? Like that era was just, it was a tough sell sometimes.
yeah. And it was Lodge went and had a fight with Alpha. Well, the Robbo at that time.
Yeah.
I used to call them Alpha because there was two alphas going in it. But yeah, it was crazy. It was cowboyish, the way we were operating. But yeah, let's not bring that up too much, man. Absolutely.
No.
But
Lastly,
he's still around.
quickly,
Yeah.
major shout out to Robbo as well, our owner
Yep.
and that. Getting amongst the boys all that with the Titans game. He walked from the shopping center with us. He was with the fans and that. Bro,
Wow. Yep.
seemed like an awesome bloke. So shout out to Robbo. Obviously, he's doing great things for us at the moment with the investments and stuff. But I thought like when he was amongst with the fan base, I was like, oh, that's really respectful. You don't
Good
usually
guy.
see that.
Yep.
So great guy.
It's polar opposite for those that know as well. Eric Watson. Watson was just a pure money man. He'd go to the games, but he lived in London, and it was just a spare business. But with Robert, I think he's very much like he's a part of it where he can. He's not at every game, and I've actually been impressed with him because I thought he was kind of an egotistical owner. He had that fight with Lodge over there, but since he's come back home, you haven't heard him in the headlines as much, in terms of as an owner.
Yeah.
He's kind of just put his money on the table, said, here, let's get all 5 development grades, let's get the women's team, let's get a head base in Logan. Like he's just put money into it pretty much. And I can't commend him enough for how he's operated with Cameron George and Cappy and Webby and all that. Like, yeah, 100%. Man. But that's so cool that he is actually with the fans. Like, that's massive.
Bro, I legit turned to my boys. I was like, that is the Warriors owner right there. And he was like, obviously getting amongst it with the boys, couple of drinks in hand and all that, walking over to the game. And like the boys are all talking to him. Like there was some boys walking with him. And after they filtered back to where we were, and they're like, that was the Warriors owner. And they're all talking he was honestly following him on Instagram, all that. So big shout out to him getting amongst with the fans. Like, as I said, not a lot of owners do that. So that's a big one.
I think he lives in the Gold Coast, maybe. I'm not too sure, but
I think he might, yeah.
Yeah, no, man. It's good what he's doing. Absolutely. But yeah, Lodge, Taukei'aho. Wow. Good throwback. Fisher Harris and Tanisdale Smith. I'm probably going to go. I mean, it's Taukei'aho. He looks like he's dropped off a bit, and Lodge as well. Tanisdale's just still so young. I want to go with the experience with Fish. Who would you go, bro? Would you go with the experience, like a Taukei'aho or a Lodge?
So first of all, we got Fish no matter what.
Yeah, Fish.
And then
Fish no matter what, yeah.
I think that Taukei'aho has been incredible this season for the buy for Manly. Like he has teed it off probably towards the end here. But for the middle late, when he had been playing games, because had been out for a little bit as well, he'd been really, really strong for Manly. So I'll probably just sway the way of Taukei'aho at the moment. But Tanisdale Smith for the future will probably be around about there, yeah.
Yeah. We'll give it to him. Sorry, Locke. Just quickly, Jazz Tavanga versus Aaron Clark. That's actually the like for like replacement. Remember, everyone was kind of disputing that. How could you replace Jazz? Aaron Clark's pretty much the same style, but it proved totally different. Which I think me and you kind of knew that he was going to be more of a lock player. But Jazz is there. Hoping Jazz does a favor. Jazz just butter up your fingers a little bit. Fall off the tackles in the middle if you can. You know what you need to do.
Throw a couple of water bottles.
Yeah. Put on a swinging arm if you can.
Please do. No, we love you, Jazzy.
We love Jazzy, but yeah, we gotta go Aaron Clark, obviously, but we love Jazz.
Yeah,
we hope he does well. Where was he off to? Was it Wakefield or I can't remember where he was going?
Was it Wakefield or Catlands? Yeah, I think it was Wakefield. I don't know why I thought Catlands, but yeah, I think it was Wakefield. Shout out to him, bro.
Okay. Yeah, Wakefield's a good club, I think. He'll do well over there. Okay, let's go to the edges now. Okay, we have. Is that Capewell? Is it Waddle and Capewell or Capewell and Ben Travojevic?
Ben Trebojevic plays on the left edge for Manly, so yeah.
Phew, I'm not sure. I haven't watched much Ben. He's a good player though, Ben.
Good player.
Would you go with him over Capewell? Over Capewell?
This one's fairly close. I think I'll just edge it to oh, it's crazy because I feel like we're filling out this with the Warriors side a little bit. You know
Oh,
what
look
I
at
mean?
that. There's hardly any Manly. So we should be winning this game.
Should be, but you know, a lot of things do change, and we do obviously touch on that quite a bit. I got to give the origin nod to Kurt Capewell for the season, right? Like, I think he's been incredible in that. Ben Trbojevic is a great player as well. Like, he's got a lot of potential for the future. Inconsistent at times, though. Yeah, this is a tough part. I'm going to go Kurt Capewell.
Just quickly, Eddie, do you boys reckon Kalani going possibly gets a run off the bench at hooker or I'm not sure. Is he in the 23? Did you see, Ash?
He is in the reserves, mate. Yeah, he's in the reserves, but I can't see it, brother. I really can't.
See it. And that goes to the question I saved it. Do we see going being a consistent first grader? This one, I just felt it might be a little bit too late in the piece for him, you know, man. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's going to get a crack, and he's not in that picking order, especially at the Wilds. Maybe somewhere else, you never know. But yeah, he might be one of those Nrlw men. I think that just falls in that space. Ash, for you?
I'm right there with you, bro. Good player, great cup player. First grade is a big step up, and I'm sure he could handle it and be like a good player there, like playing in first grade. But yeah, unfortunately, I think that, not to say his time is done or anything like that, but I think that he probably struggled to get up to that upper echelon to first grade consistently, in my opinion anyway. I hope to be wrong, but I think that's probably where he sits.
Yep. Okay, we're going to go back row. It's Murata versus Waddell. I don't know much Waddell, Corey Waddell. I've heard that name a lot, but is he better than Murata currently? What do you reckon?
Honestly, I don't rate him too highly at all, Corey Waddell. I never have, but he's always he always sort of finds the try scoring sheet, stuff like that against me. So yeah, I'm going Murata Niukore. Yeah, it's just one of those players that I think
right now.
I know. When I was looking at it, I was like, oh, you know, but I guess we do have a lot of strong talent still here. It's just, you know, I guess on their day that Manly talent can step up as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, let's get now into the bench. Joey Walsh, Caleb Navale, Ethan Bullymore for Sipley, Tamati Martin, Eddie Yeremia Toyava, Dimitri Vaimonga, Leka Halasima. Shivers. Who's your first pick off the cab there?
I think Leka Halasima is definitely first pick out of everyone there.
Yeah.
With that, I'll take Ethan Bullymore as well. I think they're probably the two of the best bench players that we have there. Third would be Dimitri Vaimonga.
Yep.
And lastly would be out of Toe Sipley or Tamati Martin for me. Unfortunately, Joey Walsh is this young halfback they got coming through the grade of Manly, and he's debuting on the weekend, so that's a big plus for them. He's definitely the future of the club later on down the track. I think it was a Wallabies junior as well. And Caleb Navale is a really big, good talent. Just hasn't consistently touched first grade just yet for people to notice. But yeah, out of the two, would be out of Tamati Martin, Dollar Sips, but I might go Sipley just to sway it in a little bit more Manly favour.
Yeah, I'll give it to Sipley, man.
I probably would have had Tamati Martin, but
yeah. No, even up a bit. 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 versus 12. So we should be winning this game. But look, it is what it is. When you add that crowd in, when you add the final game for DCE, those are all switched the other way as well. So yeah. But there you have it, people. There's that's our last combined 17 of the regular season. So let's hopefully we've usually stacked the Team Warriors and we've lost this year. So I'm hoping we break that curse and we actually win this time. But oh yeah, and add the ref and bunker. Yeah, who's on the whistle this weekend? Oh, Toddy Smith. Hey. Oh, Badgers.
Yeah, I struggle to even
Casey's
look at
on the
those
tools on the
anymore.
sideline. Yes. Chris
Yeah.
Butler. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Toddy's not too bad. He can call it both ways at times. He's a bit trigger happy sometimes. What do you rate Todd?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
The referee talent has dropped significantly since back in the
I
old
need that
days.
young
So
fella from the Titans game. He needs to come back. Old hairy, old Wolfman. They'll hairy arms, bro. He was good.
yeah, I don't know. I miss the old days. Get Harrigan back and all that. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Okay,
Get
people.
get Henry back. Henry Paranara.
Get Perinara back in, man. Yeah. Okay. Let me just delete this. Okay. Now let's go to score prediction, people. What is your score? What's your score, Ash, for this one? Do you think it's just inevitable that the Sea Eagles win this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Seagulls here. I think that like the team on paper can produce for the Warriors at the moment. I just think that we are hitting a wall. Like it does feel like towards the end of the season, we're just not able to get that little bit extra that we had mid to late. And I think that whether it has been due to injuries in key areas too, but I do think that a lot of the boys have probably spent a lot of energy during the season to where they're coming towards their tail end as well this season. And I touched on this before too. I think we should take this all as a positive because, a team that got taken away with, Sean Johnson, Adam Fanor, Blake, Tohu Harris, Jazz Tavanga, Dylan Walker. Dylan Walker's a major one as well. Like, not a lot of teams are able to contend when all those experience get taken out of their lineup in one season, and the boys have done so well to get to this point. So we're saying that. I just wanted to preface that before I say this. I do think Manly probably get this done at home for DC's last game. I think it'll be a big spectacle. I do think it'll be somewhat close. I think I'm going to go a 24-16, that sort of margin. I think that will probably hopefully score a couple of tries there, maybe get a little bit of a roll on, but I think that probably the class of DC probably will bring him home, and it might be a little bit too much for us at 4 Pines, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it might be, man. Bookies have got it $1.52 actually to Sea Eagles here at TAB. So yeah, we're outsiders. Not expected to win, but we get some SJ magic like against the Sharks last year. Something, someone could pull it out of the hat. I'd love to see it. But I'm probably leaning your way as well. Same sort of similar scoreline there. But look, who knows? Maybe this is like one of those games where we say, no, we've got to lift another level to prove, we want to show something. I know a lot of people are kind of, maybe we'll have this chat here about the kind of style of football and then talking about
quickly on it too, bro. Just before we jump in that too, like I do want to say, like this is a lot worse of a Manly side than what we played earlier on in the season. No Ruben Garrick. There's a lot of like, as we said, with our combined 17, like there's a lot of Warriors there, and that's due to they've had a lot of mixing and matching as well. Manly, to end the season with Corey Waddell and Ben Trebojevic in the edge back row. No Jake Trebojevic, no Ruben Garrick. So
no Jake.
There's an opportunity there. Like I'm not saying there's no opportunity there, but I think more times than not, I think at the moment, just the way that this game is probably going to play out at 4 Pines, probably going to end up going Manly's way. But yeah, let's jump over to the other one.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about reflecting on the year, but also, stylistically, we talked a little bit about optimized football and having, a lot of people have been arguing, we haven't put together an 80-minute performance. And I think what might have impacted this is that if you're making top 4, there's an expectation historically and in reality that a top 4 team does certain things. They're supposed to beat teams regularly. They're supposed to beat even top 4, top 8 teams. And I think we kind of sit in that. We've sat in the top 4 for a long time. Well, one thing I was really impressed was when we did all of our good work early in the season, like how many years as Warriors fans we've been on the outside trying to fight to get in, at this stage, and we've actually just done the dirty work early. We won all the games that we're supposed to, and we beat the teams we were supposed to for the majority, and we gave that buffer for ourselves to be where we're at right now. And I congratulate Webby, congratulate all the boys, the efforts that they did to get that done. The other part is that optimized football, or consistent football, kind of in the Penrith mold, where the more consistent choices you make over time creates extra possessions and percentages that lead to wins. And I think that's been true of Webby. You could argue that he's turned an average football team in terms of young and coming talent, bit of an older squad, not marquee signings, and he's made them into a top 4 team based on creating a system that is effective as well. And then we've had, my latest argument about that is, well, sometimes you still need a little bit of X factor. We're missing those Metcalf moments where he made long range tries or put a drop kick to get us that 1 point lead. And so it's kind of that balance between someone or players with a bit of X factor like Aleka, but having a system that actually produces top grade, top 4 football. And we can't control what other teams do. Like, we couldn't control what Penrith have done, that they started off poorly and made a late run. We can't control that other teams that have maybe more talent than us actually haven't performed we've done our best. And for me personally, I don't care what anyone else thinks. If we're top 4, that's great for me, because I want to get to a final. And I know people will say, well, we shouldn't have. We're not finals worthy. We're not worthy of making final. Like, it doesn't matter, because those guys, Fish and that, have all said we can make the finals. Like if they believe, then that's all that matters to me. Is that, and if they do make it, bro, massive. But where do you sit on all of this? The discussion around, people want expansive footy, and I suppose want to see more tries on the board. We are, technically one of the lowest scoring teams in the comp, sitting in the top grade. But where do you sit on that whole argument as we kind of draw near to the end of the regular season?
Yeah, my biggest argument to that overall is, we've had Webby for 3 years now. We've had that one season that's now looking like a one-off sort of year where he's had, a down year to fall out of that top 8. And more than likely for this season, we were a top 4 side all the way up till we've had key major injuries towards the run home, and I think that's a full credit, and it kind of shows that footy is about balance and about finding, if you swing towards one way more so than the other, sometimes it hurts you more so than not. Obviously it's shown for a lot of other sides, if you're the best defensive side in the competition, more than likely you will come away with a premiership that year. Or you'll be at least contending for it. And obviously the top 4 sides in the defense, or top 5, which we still are a top 5. We're a top 5 defensive side this year. That's the reason why we are where we are. So that's the main framework to start off with, is building from that and going from that. With attack, something I've been discussing for a long period of time. I agree with you that we probably can tinker to a sense of the level of what we've got the side playing at is probably over the standard of what people definitely expect, and what those players probably can produce at some aspects as well for a long period of time. We probably do need the upper echelon of that, and that will come in time. We've only 1 year away from losing incredible talent like Sean Johnson, Adam Fanor, Blake Tohu, Harris, Dylan Walker. These sort of players that were more than likely looking like going to be those players that take us to a level. If we were able to get to that, right. We don't want to swing the pendulum one way too much, because you end up becoming like the Gold Coast Titans, become an unpredictable side that don't get consistency. And more than likely, we won't find ourselves in a top 8 position and fight the way we have. And I think that's the biggest credit to what Webby's built Stilton to this side, is that, number one, we're always going to try and compete. When we saw this run home, as a voice note I kind of put up on the WhatsApp chat, we lost Barnett. We went to the Sharks, had our best performance. We lost, Luke Metcalf in that period of the Panthers and Broncos, where we only lost by shorter margins. And the context of those games, if Dallin didn't go down mid-game and the Panthers didn't score for that emotion, maybe we could have beat the Panthers at that moment. The Broncos, we started to find momentum. And we had Chance, we had Metcalf, we had Egan. I'm pretty sure all three. Tomato played 3 different positions in that game. And we still, found our way somewhere close into that one. Then, even the Titans game, to where it was a real disappointing performance, but we were still within a try distance to end up finding a way and maybe even coming out with that. If we had a full deck of cards, more than likely we were a top 4 side this season, and that's 2 times under Webby's tenure that we have done that. So I always look at the long view of things and look at, well, more times than not, we have won games and we have come out with the chockies the way we're playing football. I think it's more of the fact of probably just upgrading those players over time, and these juniors that are coming through that are going to be the upper echelon of that, they're going to take over the mantle for me. So that's kind of how I envision it, of like, we're already pushing Lecker into a position now, Dimitrik. These are all going to be guys that are probably going to be an uptick in, Maratsini Kore, into Kurt Capewell. Luke Metcalf's going to be an uptick in Tanner Boyd when he comes back. Like, maybe Jet Clear is the uptick from that. So we're still in such an early framework of what we can become as a club. And I think people probably don't understand that because we hit such a higher ceiling at a time that no one expected it. So now everyone's expecting, well, we need to contend in finals. We need to be a premiership threat. I think our premiership window comes in the next couple of years, and it will continue to do that. And we had that same thought process coming to the season. A lot of people, I thought we would just be a top 8 side and just be there. We've exceeded that by such a big margin this season, so I can't take that away from the boys.
Yeah, you can't. You actually can't. I think what happened was that the expectation changed, and I suppose maybe I was part of that. When I went after that Sharks game, I was like, "Yo, I wasn't so much like we're gonna. Maybe I might have said we're gonna win the grand final, but like it was like, oh, I can see what Weeby's building here, and when you have all those pieces aligned and operating, like, yeah, bro, the future looks really bright. And I still believe that. And you have your ups and downs. I think it's just, there's a level of quality at times that I'm like, if you can get a better player, then, and if it's within a reasonable price, then you do it. I mean, even on a simpler scale, a David Moale might be a good business because you might be able to transform him into a beast within 2 or 3 years, and he's in his prime years. So those are ones where, like, Sam Healy, I always like the low key buys where they more often than not hit, and they give you the value for the juice for the squeeze, so to say, in value. So I like those. And if you can get another Aaron Clark, say if something pops up on the market of players, go get them again. And then build that squad out to where it's like, and then like you're saying, that kind of next 2 to 3 years looks really promising, and the baseline that Webby's built goes up another notch. I think that's what we're wanting. I don't think anyone, for me personally, I don't want to subtract from what Webby's built. I want that as the base. Mm-hmm. I just want the talent level to go up another notch and performance level to be even better. I think that's what I want. Some people want to actually take that out and go to free, like you're saying, free-flowing football, but then you have the variables of the type, you start becoming a team that has these amazing games, but then the lows are super low too. So it's kind of, you have to really be clear about what, for me, this core base, the last 3 years, been fantastic. 2 years playoffs out of 3, that's up there with an Ivan Cleary, Daniel Anderson in historic sense.
Agreed.
Just add to that, add value to that. Yeah, that's my only.
And I think that, like, for me, when I hear those, I always fight it back to say that it's coming. Like, when with Webby being here and just the club in general under Webby's tutelage, and it's not just Webby, there's a lot of other factors here, TJ and what he's doing, coaching in our junior ranks and stuff. We are swinging to where we are going to pick up these superstars through our system to where we're not going to be overpaying for kids and chasing those big market players over there, but more so building with those kids coming through. Like, if you look at the New South Wales Cup stats that we've had this year, we were the best attacking and defensive side this year from memory. And if you look at, consistently over all time, I'm pretty sure this is the best season that we've ever had in New South Wales Cup in both those areas, right? So that attack is coming, you know what I mean? Like, and we're showing in those areas that we've grown from that New South Wales Cup team from 23, 24, 25, that we are having upticks in that area. And that's due to a lot of our juniors starting to find our way through the system and hit another level under us. We got the CO Carly's coming in the future. I know people want him so quickly, but the slow build is the best build over time. Let him learn the system, let him, get his feet under him. So when he hits first grade, we get the best ability there. He's an X factor that a lot of people are going to be waiting on, and he will become that. Very similar to what we have done with Lekka, what we have done with Laban, what we have done with Dimitrik, right? Then under that, we got Bishop Neal coming, through Harold Matz, and he's the ability of becoming someone that, we're going to have Lekka and Jacob Laban on an edge. This kid's got the ability to be, like a Viliami Kickout type, on an edge as well. And there's something we've been screaming out for, right? Like I remember when we had these discussions about last year about our attack and why our attack does seem pedestrian in some angles is like, for me, it's probably the upper echelon of attacking edge back rowers, right? Like now we got a Lekka that can, after his first year, next year, we're going to see probably a little bit more defenses sitting on him, and that's going to, evolve out the back play, right? Defenses are going to have to sit on Lekka, which cause more space for the outside, which caused the attack to get better over time, right? We're going to get that with Bishop Neal coming through. We're going to get that with 2 elite edge back rollers, or at least 3 elite edge back rollers. We've got Kalis and Cup as well. That's going to get to another level of that too. So when I'm saying all this is like, this is all coming in time. Sam Healy's still young, right? And we've already seen the attacking potential of Sam Healy in New South Wales Cup. He's got the ability to do that and take another step in NRL. So I think that we got to stop looking at, again, like it's probably going back to exactly what you're saying and putting a major tick on it is, I think Webby's doing the best that he can with the squad he has right now, and he's getting the best level of what he can with these guys that he has in the attacking side of things, right? But the future of what we have of Lekka, we already see the X factor of Lekka, and he's 19. You know what I mean? And that's Lekka Alasima. Wait till we get one of these young kids, another young kid coming through us with his attacking upside, and that's where we're going to find our attack hit another level. It's not so much of throwing attacking systems out the water and defensive systems out the water because of what we kind of think. I think things build over time, guys. You don't build a house with putting the roof on top. We've got to build from the base, right? So I think that's what we're doing this year. And I think a lot of people have got to understand that. I think that's what this year has always been about, is rebuilding from what we had before with the experience leaving us right now and what the new era could look like in the future. And I think it looks very bright.
I think I heard this is from Pitbull, a quote. We're here for a slow but a for show. A slow but a for show. It's like, you know what I mean? You guys,
I agree.
I can't do it in the American accent, but it's like you're like a slow but a for sure bet. And that's probably what it is, short steps, long vision. That's what he said. Yeah. So it's like you take your little baby steps, and the long vision will progress out. And like, bro, yeah, I actually agree with you. The more you look at Webby and what he's been able to do with the squad he's had, mate, you get 2 ticks in the box for him, man. And even in the back end, getting a lot of this EITs through and all these guys. He's clearly gone and said, no, we don't need a Bunty R4 anymore. These guys are ready. Don't need a Tom Alia for whatever reason. We're going in with these 3 young or 4 or 5 young guys. So credit to him, man. I think credit to him.
Yeah, that pretty much puts a nail in it. Like, Team Eki has just put into the chat, like, our future forward pack, when we're talking about attack and, when the uptick does come over time, we could consistently play the way we are playing. Dimitrik, Laban, Lekka, you got Eddie being around about there. Tanner Smith is more of a conventional, but you got Bishop Neal and Fatia Lofa. That's like attacking upside through, like flush through, just coming through our junior system. That will come in time. What Webby has done with Jackson Ford, what Webby has done with, Adam Pompey, what Webby has done with all these like kids that have come over from other clubs that are unwanted, and what he's turned to. Adam Pompey was in our system, but no one thought Adam Pompey would do what he's kind of doing this season, right? No one thought that very limited people thought Luke Metcalf was going to be what he was right now. No one thought Jackson Ford was ever going to be the signing that he is right now, right? Like, it's already showed that Webby's already molding as best as he can with the squad he has. but under his tutelage, it's no doubt that not just our first grade squad has played better than what we've played probably for the last decade or so or longer, but our cup's playing better than we've played probably since our inception. Our Harold Matts is now playing better than probably it's the only time we ever been in there, but they're winning back-to-back premierships. Like it's all looking green shooting. And like, I think that instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater sometimes and getting emotional and short-term things for Warriors fans, sometimes it is better to look at the brighter future that we do have coming and that it will fix over time. And what we've seen consistently from Webby is that he is consistently building us to be better side week in, week out, or, in areas that a lot of people probably aren't seeing overall long term. So it will get better. It will continue to get better. And I completely trust the side at the moment.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Okay, let's just track now to the Wahine. They fall to the Dragons, but man, there's some good moments in these girls. I want to touch on firstly, man, Peyton Takimwana, man. I knew she had it in her when I first saw her like score a few tries. Like, man, this girl's got great finishing ability. She actually played center and scored some really good tries in the center position as well. I think she's currently holds the record for the NRLW. I'm not sure if it's the NRLW.
Yep.
But she holds a record as well for most tries or most consecutive tries.
Yep.
She's a try scoring machine, this girl. She's great to watch, man. What do you make of her and what do you make of the performance? I thought, man, we had our moments there. It's so difficult. We're missing a half in Curtin, but also I saw that podcast from those two girls, and they said that we actually went in for an actual halfback and we got blocked.
Yeah,
which sucks because you can see the potential of this team. That might have been the difference between 7th and 6th, But yeah, what'd you make of it anyway, Ash? The game.
Yeah, it's just like as you said, bro. Just giving context, like it wasn't our greatest performance out there, but like what the girls are dealing with, the girls are contributing and they're still learning and growing. And this season, this is building such a calcification. Like I think the girls are real hardened now. Like they're going to learn from this first grade season and be better for the future. Like we just picked up Gail Broughton as well, so she's going to be an uptick now as well. Her and Maliipu as well, as halves are going to be incredible for the future. And there may be another domino to fall. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But with the girls that we're having right now, like with the debutantes that we have with Pickering and that, we got Cook out there, we didn't think we're going to get to that level. We obviously thought this season we're going to go Taki Moana and Michaela Brake, and that obviously hasn't turned out the way it has. But Taki Moana has been incredible since the start, bro. And I think she leads the comp with Tamika Upton this season at 13 tries. Who would have thought in the first season of New Zealand Warriors coming back that we would have the leading try scorer in the competition? Like that's showing that something's there. And then just to add with like all the other girls that we have, Harada Butler has been incredible week in, week out. I can't praise these girls enough with how they started the season.
Yeah, I think that Ron's been really good, man. Mm-hmm. Just rotating the 4-pack. I think he's gotten Hunter Butler. Man, I would love to see them with a full preseason.
Yep.
Just actually I don't know if technically it is news because it's released but Gail Broughton's coming back next year.
Yep.
That's massive news, and we've seen what Gail's doing at Broncos right now. There's a lot of potential that I like. I think Ron's the right guy. I'm hoping he stays around for a little while just to build on the squad next year. I think it's a bit tough for us just quickly do you think we got the chance to make the 6? I don't think we can, I think it's a little bit tough.
I think we got the Broncos this weekend,
yes.
And we need to win that one to kind of hold us into that fight because the Titans are above us with 4-1-4. I think we're 3-6, right?
They got 9 points. They drew. Yeah, they're 4-1-4. We're 3. Yeah, I think it's just.
So we got the Tigers in the last game, which should be.
Although they're negative, their negative is like quite poor, like us. So what are they on right now?
I think we're negative 20, are we? Damn. And so. Yeah, it's I think it might be a year that we do just miss. But like, who knows? If we're able to shock the Broncos, which is a tough ask because that Broncos side is deadly as. and then we
Nah,
knock off the Tigers.
nah.
That's our opportunity to get top 6, but I think that's too far gone now.
It's a bit of a reach, but man, if Ron pulled it off this weekend, I'm actually going to this one on Sunday. I got the 3 tickets, but I was supposed to go to the first 2, but family was a bit sick and the other one I couldn't make. But I'm definitely going to be there this Sunday. But yeah, just a shame. The girls they were in the lead for a bit, but they were quite poor. They had some really disjointed stuff. I think Tegan Berry was a blooming beast. She destroyed. They were a little bit lighter team, but they just had that extra bit of energy, I thought. And just I think it's just growing pains. Part of the process. Probably won't make the finals this year, but from what I've seen, the baseline can be very, very good. And the way that Ron's blooded in so much talent.
Agreed.
Look, I thought it was going to be. I was having a chat with Honey actually, and at that time we didn't have much signings, and I was just like thinking, man, when's the signings going to start coming through? And then you saw the signings, and you're like, oh, I don't really know her. Some of them from out of Auckland Rugby League local comp, but Ron's actually been able to get a tune out of these girls, and actually be competitive, man. And I'm thinking, shivers, if he can develop, he's kind of like Webby. If he can get a tune out of a lot of these girls that are just local girls, if you add in a Gail Broughton and a few others, mate, you got a competitive team there. Not saying you're going to win a premiership next year, but you got a team that might be able to make 5th or 4th. You go up a few steps in the ladder, so it's exciting, and it's just good to watch. To have a kind of just have a. If the boys, you got that extra game to watch, and if the boys lose or if the boys win, then you got another one to get happy. It's like, I wish the NRLW season was just a little bit longer, actually.
I feel you, bro. It's a bit like that. And I think that this year's been a bit of that too. Like, our first grade squad has gone very, very well. Like, to be honest, like if you look at the grand scheme of things, we've gone very well. But when we struggle to watch that, you go down to New South Wales Cup, that's done very, very well as well. Like, obviously, that's our best season we've had. Only losing 1 game that season. And then, like, going under that, the NRLW is giving us a lot of excitement as well. So, as a Warriors fan, you can tune into pretty much any game of New Zealand Warriors footy and somewhat more than likely come out with a smile, because we are winning more so than not. And that's a big positive for the club right now.
Yeah, man. A lot to be hopeful for, and actually, for me personally, from what they recruited and what I thought they could do, they've exceeded that, and I'm very happy. And everyone that can get out to the game this Sunday, let's break that record. I think we got to 6,900, so let's get to 7K if we could, man. That would be great.
7K.
And good to watch some of the the Kiwi talent, Broughton and Melee. I'm sure is Melee playing this weekend. There'll be some top tier talent to watch there.
As she would be.
Just quickly, Tamika Upton will be great. Melee's there.
100%.
Gail Brigginshaw, Nuasala. I know she's another. Bro, I'd love to come back home. Brianna is another Kiwi there.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good team, man. They got a good team, but I hope for our girls to yeah. Okay, my man. Let's just change tack to the cup. Flegg finish up with a win, and the cup they're on rest, man. For the finals, they killed it. What'd you make of their performances, man? And I suppose maybe start with the Flegg actually. They finished up. How did you rate their season overall? With TJ coming in halfway through the season, fallout with the coaches in the background, and he kind of resurrected a lot of it, to be honest.
I think Flegg's been under TJ has been very, very good, bro. I think that, we've ended the season really, really well from the point of the season where it probably hadn't been clicking the best as what we were hoping to start the season, right? And with, as you said, the coaches in the background and a couple of different things, and TJ's kind of just taken within his stride as he's done from the Harold Matts year. And the boys have just been playing for him, playing great footy. So to end it off with the high, beating Newcastle Knights, Flegg side, the Knights with the Hunter region are well known for great talent there. So getting it done over that is very, very good. Finishing top 8, but I'm pretty sure it's top 6 with Jersey Flegg play finals and stuff like that. So we just miss out there, but a great year there nonetheless from the Flegg guys. Jack Thompson and all that stepping up. There's a lot of great juniors coming through at the moment. Taylor Negan, Wade Egan's brother, played over the weekend.
Yeah, Taylor Negan.
But yeah, so it's good to see. We get to see some of our talent that we still got around about the traps and that, and that will filter into our New South Wales Cup probably in the years to come. And then obviously really good to see our New South Wales Cup ending with a high against the Newcastle Knights as well. Very, very good to see that we've just had this year that we've just been ultimately dominant. And that's even with taking away, a lot of people were probably saying our cup side with Tanner Boyd and Tamani Martin was the cheat code. We come to a year where we had to strip those guys out of the lineup and play with those guys in first grade, and Jet Cleary and Luke Hansen stepped up towards the end of the year and continued it on.
Didn't miss a beat, man, which is credit to them, so...
The one thing they needed to do, I think it was last weekend, they didn't name Luke Hansen. I can't remember. Caleb Lehman, I'm pretty sure, was named in the 6 jersey, and Luke Hansen played, and they were getting confused. They kept saying Lehman. It was like, this is Hansen playing right now, but Hansen's development's come so far. Sio Carly's been incredible towards the end of the season. I still want to see him play consistent football over a long period of time because he had injury troubles before this. So, he's looking great to be prepped for maybe a debut towards the end of next year, mid to late. Yeah, bro, there's a lot of good signs there. Nrlw there. Yeah, Potoko is definitely a great talent for the future as well. Brendan Norris in our Flegg side.
What was your rating on that? The boy from the Rabbitohs. Is he? Would you rank him up just currently? Would you rank him above Steel Carly?
Yeah, Hayes Mella. I wouldn't rate him over Sio Carly. I think that Sio's the standout at the moment. I'd say he's probably not to say a straight swap for Ed Gossie, but I'd probably say he's a younger version. Like, we're going to get someone like that over. Decent sized body, great athlete in the air. So I'm just curious to see how he goes. There's a lot of raps over him in the Rabbits, but he had a couple of injuries in that. So hopefully we're able to get him to his full potential over here at the Warriors.
Just quickly, just the last one from my man, Jimmy. Hope you're doing well, brother. Toi Picky being let go. Is that true? I haven't heard much about that. Is there a rumor that he is leaving?
I haven't heard anything about that, bro.
I don't think there's anything that we've heard, Jimmy, on that. I don't want to let him go. Again, if you want to be the top man in the team, and if there's opportunity there, sure. I mean, why wouldn't you take an opportunity to be a top player? That goes for everyone. But I'm not sure if he's been offered by clubs to take a role. And we've seen with a kind of an aging CNK, he's had more. Look, he might have played 15 games this year in total, 15 to 16 games, which is good for him in that role. But yeah, you never know if he gets an offer from Super League or whatever it may be. There's always if clubs are after you, there's always that thing you got to weigh up. And if the money's right type of thing. But I haven't heard anything. I don't think Ash has heard anything about that.
Haven't heard anything at all, bro. And knowing the competition that, there's so many fullbacks in the competition right now. And I know that Chopicki's incredibly talented in that, but even when you look at sides that probably could be using a fullback, they've got some junior coming through that they're very high on that they're waiting for. So it's not like, I think the best ability for the best chance for Tane Chopicki to play first grade is still with the Warriors, in my opinion. Especially with, we never know with CNK when his body could break down because he is a fullback that gets through a lot of work. So I wouldn't even be, if I was Chopicki, I'd just be standing because he's the next man up. We still got Lamana and all that coming through the grade as well. So if we were to lose Tuapiki, obviously it'd be very, very sad. But we got some other fullbacks that are willing to step up in the grade. If anyone's watched how Lamana for our Harold Mats, he's got such a promising future as well. So it's not like we are going to be, in despair. We're losing Tuapiki. So I think it's more of a, for both parties, I think that he'll probably want to stay with us. If anyone could give me a team in a competition that would use Tuapiki right now and snap him up for the person they have for bigger money or anything, let me know. I think the only one would be the Perth Bears, and I think the Perth Bears would be looking like a Dane Laurie's and stuff like that before they look at Tuapiki.
Yeah, man. Okay, good talking points, everyone. Just maybe the last one, Crosby, not locking up Crosby and Sanity by 2030 be one of the best in the game. We've kind of talked a little bit about this. Zach, actually, Ash has kind of mentioned that, he's an athletic player, but there's still a lot of development to be done. So there's some people that are big heavy on the Crosby camp. I think give it time. and that's up to the club. I mean, he is a kind of a talent in terms of he stands out from a physical aspect. And if he goes to Penrith, people will be like, "Whoa, why are we letting him go?" There may be deeper reasons for that. Maybe they see him that he's actually quite a far way off in terms of his total game, which just to kind of give another different view to that. Currently on there's the Crosby fans out there, but also maybe he's not that. Yeah, he might be a great talent, as you said, Kemp, but same time you need to harness that talent into actual, What do you anything you want to add on to that? I'm just talking about.
Yeah, exactly, bro. To nail that point home, he's a rare athletic talent. He's not a rare football talent just yet, if that makes sense. So he's a rugby union junior. He's incredible. Like, when you watch him get front foot footy momentum and that, he's incredible, right? But when we're looking at I wouldn't say he's the best. Going to be one of the best in the game. Like, you can't say that at all. Like, we've seen front rowers with speed, probably not speed like that, but we've seen guys come through the game that have had a lot of potential, a lot of talent, that just not hit anywhere close to their potential, even, coming from union, stuff like that. So, when you start looking at top talents coming through, bro, like you got the Lamoto twins over at Penrith that are looking incredible. You got Campbell Munn that's over in Manly. He's going to be probably the next best freaking front rower coming through the grade. So when you're watching through junior grades, and people got to remember, I'm pretty sure Crosby's 20. He played 21s last year, right? So 22 now, 23. So he's still got a little bit to grow. I wouldn't be saying that it'd be insanity for us to lose him. I'd love to keep him. But I think that we've seen it with Zion Ma'uz and that if the club's willing to let someone go, maybe there's something else that people don't know about. But for me, I think there's just little intangibles in his game that he still can improve on for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, that wraps it up for us this evening, people. Thank you massively to everyone that's been here. Thank you to our moderators, channel members coming through, regulars. Just want to actually shout out to Sean Smith for becoming a member, and TJP, but also the gifted 5 Wires Up TV memberships. Guys, if you haven't already, go to the community page. If you're one of the members, there'll be a post about joining the Discord. If you want to join the Discord for a month, there's ways to join in that way. Come and hang out and hear more in that space. Jump in on our Monday night club rooms. That's another space where you can get, I answer more one-on-one questions. So yeah, appreciate it. And the 3K, it's a massive, massive thing. And I say, never could do it without my man Ash here. Has made Wires Up TV, as successful as it has been. And to do it in a short time, we know how difficult this grind is, and NRL. I see in other sports like Premier League, they people can get 3K in 3 months. It's almost because the following is so massive. But I think especially our Warriors community is one of the close. These are good people, man. In this chat, we got to meet them. We got to meet some of them.
It's incredible
in the flesh, and we couldn't do that without the support here at Wires Up TV. And yeah, man, I'll take some more time to reflect on it, but that's a milestone. And then, you go to 4K, 5K, all that. Next minute, 1 million subscribers.
One day.
Next minute, I'm in a mansion. I'm with iShow Speed, and I'm traveling.
I would love to see that, bro. That's gonna be my that's gonna be my dream. I'm gonna make Levon. I'm gonna get Levon to that level for sure. Let's go.
You see me and Ash traveling in Vietnam and in China doing with the monks doing kung fu and
oh mate,
that'd be
guys, get on us, get on the board, the train, because it's onwards and upwards from here. But to add with that point, guys, thank you so much for all tuning in as always. Levon's been a massive he's been the whole brain child of this whole thing. So it's his channel. He's been incredible from the start. I've always seen something special there. And obviously you guys see something special there as well. So you guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for weekly coming in and giving your insights to the club as well. And it helps us, with our chat. When we see a chat there, we're bouncing off with our chat. It makes our content a lot better too and keeps our content flowing. So you guys are absolutely incredible and you've helped us in this milestone here. So that's crazy, bro. 3K. Got to celebrate, bro. That's crazy.
No, we have to celebrate, man. But yeah, for those people that got membership, please come back and join us in the Discord and all that stuff. But for everyone, watch along. We'll be back on Friday. Ash, you free? I know you're a busy man. Always welcome to
Wait
jump
and
on if you've got
see.
time.
We'll wait and
Yeah,
see, bro. Yeah.
yeah,
See
you
how we
go.
go this weekend.
Yep. But we'll be having the link for the watch long come along. I've actually had Uncle Josh come on sometimes. He's been a good laugh.
Woo!
So yeah, it's good that we'll do our last one here. If it's depending on what happens next week, might be getting a ticket, might be at the game hopefully. But come
Ooh.
along for a watch along as well.
Yep.
I think we're doing something with Uncle Josh too tomorrow if he's free. He's been very busy lately, but we'll get some more content out there. But Ash, you got a show tomorrow night, no doubt.
Yeah. So got a show tomorrow night. It's been on and off for the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, Brody was sick last week, so I thought I'd just take a week off, let him rest up, and he'll be back this week, and he'll obviously discuss his trip to Melbourne, and we'll discuss a little bit of the run into the finals, and some of our predictions that we came up with to start the season. So guys, get excited for that. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and yeah, can't wait to see you in the future. Yeah, next week.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully with a win under our belt.
Absolutely, man. Let's hope so. Let's go for top 4. If not, reach for the moon. Was it reach for the moon and fall amongst the stars or whatever it was?
Exactly.
So there we go, man. Okay, guys. Thanks once again. Have a good evening. We'll see some more content. We'll cut some of this up and you can rewatch it. And catch Ash's show, please. Go and subscribe there as well. And come along for watch along on Friday. And we'll catch up with you guys that way. Up the wires as always. Stay safe.
Up
Peace
the
out.
was.